Joining me today is Frank Edelblut, who's a member of the New Hampshire House of Representatives and running for the governor's position. Frank, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that.
You know, I like to, in the political camp, I like to start out with sort of who you are.
Right.
And why are you running for this position?
Yeah, so, who I am is I'm a business guy. I started my career at a company called PricewaterhouseCoopers. So I'm an accountant. I practiced as a CPA, accountant, finance guy. Left there and I started a business, so I'm an entrepreneur. And it was a great story. It's your classic, started at the kitchen table when my wife got tired of not being able to serve dinner because there was stuff spread all over the table. Got my first office, which was, took one of my kids out of their bedroom and moved them in with their sibling, and I moved into the bedroom.
That's your office?
Exactly. That was my office, exactly. But then it was a good business, grew, God was good, right, in some respects, and ended up selling that in 2009 to a French company. At the time, we had over 800 employees. We were operating in over 20 countries, so good deal. And then I joined a group in Boston called Common Angels, and doing early stage venture capital in the tech space, mostly mobile platforms. And I never really envisioned myself being in politics. But really what happened is after I sold my business, I kind of, when you're running a business, you just have your head down, you're focused, you're trying to get the job done. I began to look around and I said, you know what, this is not as good of an environment that I'm going to be leaving my kids and the next generation as I had coming through the process. So I said, I really need to try and engage the process and see if there's something I can't do to try and make the future brighter so we can hand over something as good or better to the next generation. And so that's why I engaged in the process. 2013, ran for the State House. Again, never envisioning myself in politics. Was up there and I'm in my first term now. So I sort of feel like I am there long enough to kind of see how things function, how you get things done, and how we can improve things. And I'm like, you know what, I think I can, as a governor, be more effective in terms of trying to, affect some positive changes in the state. And so that's really why I'm running. I don't think, we're doing enough in this state in a couple of areas, but principally economic development. There are a couple of constituencies that we've really left behind. One is young people. Young people are leaving the state. Everyone kind of knows that.
Net migration out.
Net migration out. And it's because, many people are trying to figure out, well, what's going on? I have 3 kids who've graduated from college. They would love to come back to New Hampshire, but they can't find decent jobs here. So they're stuck in Chicago, they're stuck in Northern Virginia, they're stuck in the consolation prize of New Hampshire Economic Development, which is Boston. Kind of close, but no cigar, right? We almost got there. But if they had good economic opportunities, good jobs in the state, I believe that the kids would stay here.
So is that, what role does the government play in that? There's a lot of factors that create, right, an economic development in a region.
Yeah.
So what role does the state of New Hampshire play in creating that?
So basically the government doesn't create jobs, but the government is responsible for creating an environment that's conducive to businesses wanting to invest in the state, wanting to invest in their employees. And we've kind of adopted this attitude toward business that business is somehow bad, not recognizing that businesses create jobs. People need jobs. I sometimes say that up at the State House, half of the things that we fight about are how to get, your money over to another guy over here because he doesn't have a job. If he had a job, then we wouldn't even have to have these conversations. We could move beyond that. But really, there's another segment of the population we've left behind as well, which is kind of the older folks. And these are people who maybe are 50, 55, 60, 65. They're looking at working for another 10 or 15 years. In this last recession, they have not, they had their legs cut out from underneath them. They've not landed well. And as
their houses were underwater.
Their houses are underwater. They're stuck. They're just trying to get back. But maybe they can't find a really solid job that uses all of their resources. These are many times, college educated folks. So between these two constituencies, or the young people or these older folks, we're kind of underperforming as a state. I feel like we're like this car firing on 2 cylinders. You step on the accelerator, it's supposed to pick up and get going, and we're stepping on the accelerator, but it's kind of sluggish. It's just not happening, and it's because we're underperforming as a state. So there are a number of things that the state can do to create an environment that would stimulate economic development in the state.
And we're out of time for that piece of it.
Okay.
But when we return, we're going to continue our conversation focusing on these economic issues, so please stay with us.